Good morning from Chicago traders. It's 8:02 a.m. Chicago time on Tuesday, the 2nd of November, 2021. This is episode number 2107. Derivatives trading is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. Just a quick mic check, please, as we dive into the CT, the conversion trading pre-market summary sheet. A lot going on. We have a mixed market here, mixed risk posture overnight. We see that the S&P has been hovering around unchanged. It's ticked up a little bit. It was a little bit down before this, but it's only up 7 basis points. The Nasdaq's being dragged a little bit. Has been dragged a little bit overnight versus the prior settle. Nasdaq's down 24 points, 15 basis points. The Dow relatively unchanged. The Russell up 6.5 points. When I say relatively unchanged, you really want to pay attention to what's in this box here, because if it's within a rotation, really it's unchanged. The Nasdaq rotation value currently is 23.5 points. The Nasdaq's is down 26 points. That's basically one rotation. It's basically unchanged. The Euro Stoxx 50 up 9 basis points. The DAX popping a little bit, up 58 basis points. And that's where we stand. We're seeing commodities getting hit a little bit. We've seen mining stocks actually causing a bit of a drag. Crude oil is back down under $84, currently trading down 9 cents. Gold is off $4, still hovering in that 1750 to 1850 range. It's just been stuck sideways for quite some time. Silver is off 115 basis points, and copper, surprisingly, is slightly up. Expected it to be down this morning. We see treasuries are higher as well as the indices, and this is why the posture is considered mixed. Crypto's been sitting sideways, really. Ether has done fantastic. I mean, it's had a run up from 2,700 to 5,000 over the last 5 weeks or something. In terms of what the market's paying attention to, the RBA, the Reserve Bank of Australia, has announced that it'll be tightening. This is the first major central bank to do so. FOMC meeting begins today. Apple's diverting chips from its iPad production to iPhones due to the shortage, and earnings continue. When it comes to earnings, pre-market we had British Petroleum, Pfizer, Marathon, ConocoPhillips, DuPont, KKR, Apollo, and many more. After the market, we're looking for T-Mobile, Prudential, Mondelez, Amgen, Activision, Blizzard, plus Lyft, and many more. And then in terms of what's likely to be released today, what's scheduled to be released today, IBD tip at 9, API crude oil stock change at 4:30 Eastern, and then New Zealand's unemployment data, Australia's market services PMI final, and then we have the vehicle sales, we have building permits out of Australia, and then the Caixin services PMI this evening. This is a relatively significant number for the Chinese economy. So we'll see how that goes. In terms of what was expected yesterday, let's get back to the S&P actually. The S&P is somewhat balanced, somewhat multi-distribution. It is pushing highs here recently, but we're going to classify it as multi-distribution. The volume's a little bit off, 126,000 contracts. Only the overnight inventory is about 58% short. 58% of the volume traded at price overnight is below the settlement. The range has only been 16.75 points. The point of control is basically at the century figure. It's at 4603. And we're basically sitting sideways this morning. So this is where we stand. Here's what we expected yesterday in our review segment. Before we punch into our review segment, we ended up with scenario 2. Scenario 2 was looking for a push as high up as 15. We got to 12, and we were targeting the 90 right here. This level right here is the 90. So we're looking for 90, 15 to 90 on a test lower. It did, as I talked about yesterday, it did seem weak. We had 100% inventory overnight. It did seem weak coming into the open, but I expected it to kind of pop up and continue its movement away from 4,600. That did not happen. Here's what actually took place yesterday. Let's fix this. Let's fix this. So, excuse me, 4608 open. We popped down, we popped up to 4609.50. So we went from 0950 down to 0550 for the opening swing. And then we finally test to 12. This looks pretty good on scenario 1. Looking for a weak pullback and then a continuation higher and so on and so forth. And we're looking for 4630. So 4615, 4630 would be next. And what happened was it pushed to 12 and it just found sellers, and it created this opportunity to sell against the RTH mid and VWAP at 0750, targeting the prior high, which was 4601. But the key test would be into the prior session's point of control, which coincided with the prior settle, which was at 45.97. Even the prior close is at 97 and a quarter. So this area right here becomes really important. This 45.96.97 area. So looking for it to drop into 96.97, goes to 96 and a quarter, tries to push out of the prior day's range, and then squeezes lower. This trade was very choppy in that it was chopping around in a downward skew. Not my favorite. We ended up getting down into the 90, which was right here. This was 45.90. That was the key target to the downside. We went to 86.50, back to mid at 99, consolidate. We attempted to take out the IB low yesterday. We stopped just a handful of ticks, 3 ticks higher, puts in a higher low, looking for a long. The long pushes higher. Why are we looking for the long? One, fait accompli, as they say in French. Mission accomplished, or the deed is done. 45.90 was tested. We have a stock zone there. Then we get this higher low. It fails to breach the IB for the IB stat. Remember, the IB stat and past performance is not indicative of future results. The IB stat over a sample of 2,500 days, 96% historically, it would breach the first hour's high or low. Breach, not touch, but breach. So we expect it to take that out, and it comes all the way down here, and we get this dry up in volume. You can see on the profile, it just dries up dramatically every time it gets into 90. So we're looking for a long on this higher low, on this price action higher low, and you can, the entry for this long really doesn't occur until this zipper right here. And now we're looking to target the 4603 from about 45.94. So I narrated that setup in the head trader channel at Convergent Trading, and it ended up failing to continue past 4605. Now we got back out of the range, but we could not continue, and then we make it all the way down and we miss the IB low by a tick once again. This is incredible. Again, as it comes down, really dries up, and then it goes back and it finishes at the 46.0575 settle. Right here, we have what is a balanced profile and a day where the initial balance, that 96% probability, historical probability, actually failed to come to fruition. This was a resting day for the ES, is basically what that's indicating. The IB was relatively large, but it should have poked through. We would have expected, I shouldn't say should have, because that's imposing my idea of what the market should do. The market is the market, it just is. We would expect it to, and it did not, which is a little bit surprising when that happens, but it's in the cards. Yesterday, the delta was completely sideways. I mean, it just did not go anywhere in terms of what the delta did. And then we're coming into today where we're expecting the FOMC tomorrow, the FOMC rate decision, the dot plot, the conference tomorrow. And so today, after a balanced day yesterday, after a quiet overnight session, I mean, holy heck, look at what the NASDAQ is doing. The NASDAQ completely balanced. We hardly ever see the NASDAQ in this condition here. Completely balanced overnight, pretty tight range. To me, I don't have very high hopes for big movement today, but because yesterday was balanced, we didn't break the IB and so on, we consolidated essentially. It was almost, it was a normal day, day type in terms of profile, but it consolidated through most of the session. So the overnight session, we open up, we attempt to push higher, we pull back, but we basically remained inside of the prior range. Remember, the prior high is 46.12 in the day session. 1950 is the extended trading hours all-time high. 12 is the RTH all-time high. So it's relatively significant, although we just created it yesterday. And the profile is multi-distribution. So there's some active price discovery here, but the volume is not that great. The range is okay. The range is meh. And overall, I'm not sure what to expect. We're likely to open in range out of value. So I'm expecting the market to move back to value and retest yesterday's value. The point of control of yesterday is something you want to pay attention to. The point of control is at 45.9775, which is where we closed the day before that. So I'm expecting it to back up a little bit. Let's take a look at what's expected for today. And in fact, I want to take a moment to just wholeheartedly thank those of you who contributed to this fundraiser. Our original target was $2,500. It was expected to run till the end of the month. This was done by Convergent Trading for my birthday, and $10,000 were raised. Some of those contributions, the last contribution came from Convergent Trading itself. Just we wanted to send these kids at St. Jude a round number, so $10,000 versus a $2,500 target. The $2,500 target, by the way, was hit in one day. That's how well you guys supported this cause. And so we raised it to 5,000, and that was hit in a day as well. And then it kept going up and up, and then we decided let's get it up to 10 grand. So we're going to be sending off 10 grand as a donation to St. Jude here. It comes from Just Giving, which is also a charity. And I hope you contributed. And if you didn't, hopefully you'll contribute to the next cause we try to champion here. Anyway, thank you all. You're making a difference, and we appreciate it. Let's take a look at what's expected for today here. Just setting up the chart. We're going into the pre-Fed squeeze, so be mindful of that. Here we go. So let's look at the expectations for today's segment. Again, the inventory overnight is short, about 60%. Looking for this thing to squeeze through the high on the open, push the high, potentially push the 12 to the 15, but I'm not expecting it to run. It could easily run, but I'm not expecting it to run. I'm looking for it to be responsive back into the overnight point of control and back into this 97.75 area for balance. So I'm looking for it to be a range of about 15 again, down to about 97. So that's 18 points of range. That's much below the 40 points or so we're expecting, but then we didn't get that yesterday either. So, coming into the FOMC, this is what things are likely to be. It's not a fun trade until the FOMC is released and the market reprices that new information. The secondary scenario is responsive back to the point of control to 4,600, and then it gets an impulse to the upside. We're trading off of the impulse, trading the pullback of the impulse, looking for a break of 15, and then looking to take out the Globex high of 1950, and the larger target will be 30 in that scenario. This is the 30 up here, which I'm not expecting us to get today, especially with the FOMC tomorrow, but it may make its way up there before it bounces out into the close. Those are the two key scenarios. Again, the important thing to take away is that we're opening in range just outside of value of yesterday. Again, the value high from yesterday is 46.03. So we're opening at 46.06. It looks like 46.05 area. I'm expecting this to be responsive by virtue of the fact that we're opening in range after a balance day. There's a high probability, historical probability, that we would tag the prior day's point of control, which was 97, and that's what scenario 1 is built on. Okay, so that's where we stand. Good luck. Hopefully you're picking something up every day, and I'll catch you tomorrow, FOMC day. Take care.